Hey, good morning folks. Rick here from lalafarm. So it is Saturday morning, March 12th. Our last freeze, according to the USDA by zip code 32040, should be March 6th. Our last frost date, I should say, March 6th. However, we're 6 days past that. You know, I know that's only an average. 50% of the time it's going to be after that. You know, it might even be before that. So I thought we were relatively safe. So we've been putting seeds into the ground for about the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks in some instances. And watching the news this morning, and it says we're going to have deep freeze tonight. Getting down to the mid-20s. One source said, you know, 29, one said 26, but safe to assume it's going to be down into the 20s. So we got to hook up all the heaters that we've already disconnected and put up for the season. More importantly, I got to get plastic on all of these beds that I've already planted. Stand by, that's what we're going to be doing. But before we do that, I'll take you around, show you what we've got in the ground already, what we're doing. And I don't think I've done this in a composite way yet, so I'll show you around what we've got planted so far this year. So over here, this is where the grandkids' playground is. We don't do a whole lot of footage over here because there's really nothing to see. But what I've done is I've taken the mint from last year that we grew in a container. Did really well. And if you don't know, mint's kind of an invasive plant. So we have planted our mint right here beside this pine tree, and it has just taken off. Love that. So right out of the ground. You're probably gonna get some wind noise in this video because, as you can see, even though the rain has stopped, it's rained for the past 2 days straight, we still got a lot of wind. Although the skies have cleared, that wind is coming in. Anyone's been watching the news knows that there's a cold front coming in across the country, basically the entire eastern seaboard. Well, we're going to be hitting that. We're going to be getting that tonight and tomorrow in Florida. But preceding that is all of this crazy wind that they said we're going to have basically the entire day. Over here, didn't take off as well. This is lemon balm right here, and so that's kind of rooted in. This is another one we just kind of put directly into the ground. When we want it, we just come out here and we can pick it. Awesome stuff. Got some blueberries that I've put in the ground over here. They seem to be doing pretty well. Already blossomed. This is one blueberry plant here. And we got another blueberry right here. And we come over here to the garden over there. It's a trellis. I used to have some grapes on. Failed with the grapes miserably. We've got one vine that is modestly living, I guess is the best way to put it. But it still has kept vining. I gotta prune that back, and then maybe we can revive that one for this year. But right across from that, on the outside of this pine stand, we've got been in the ground for about 3 weeks. We've got Everglades tomatoes along the base of this tree, that tree, that tree, and that tree. So my hope is that we're going to get these Everglades tomatoes are basically borderline invasive. They're considered an invasive species. We'll go along this tree and cover this whole path over here. Again, we can knock that down with the mower when we're mowing. And that tomato variety I heard about from another channel called David the Good, and Then we come over here and we've got a lot of our fruit trees. Most of the fruit trees. So this is about a 3-year-old Glen Navel orange. You can see there's lots of orange buds on that already. So this I've got to wrap up in plastic tonight. This is a variety of Satsuma orange. I gotta trim back some of this. This brown on top, this was from the last freeze that we had, and I just haven't clipped that off. So I'm gonna get that off today before we wrap it up for tonight. This is a plum tree. This is gonna get wrapped up tonight as well. Another plum variety here. This is a Stanley plum tree. And this is a Santa Rosa plum tree. This tree here is a sun red nectarine. This over here is a dismal plant. This is another one I got to chop off. I got to trim back, prune back, because this one, like the other one down there, froze during the last freeze that we had, and I haven't gotten back to pruning it back, but I'm going to prune it back probably to here, most of this stem here, because all of this up here is pretty much froze in the last freeze that we had several weeks ago, and I just haven't got to prune it back yet. All the growth is coming in from the bottom. But this is a Meyer lemon tree. It's about 4 years old, and it's one that every year I get a surprise freeze and it dies back, but then it comes back in the spring. I just can't keep it alive long enough. I've never gotten fruit off of it. So anyone got any suggestions on that? That's pretty brittle down there. Anybody got any suggestions on that? Let me know. This is the last of the fruit trees. This is a Florida King peach tree, similar to the Meyer lemon tree over there. This thing every year freezes. First freeze that I'm not attentive to, I miss it, it dies back and then sprouts again in the summer. So I've never gotten a piece of fruit off of this tree. Fertilize it pretty aggressively, but that darn frost just gets it. So I'm gonna probably trim back this right here. So that's all the fruit trees. So let's go across and I'll show you what we got in the garden so far. Like I said, we've been putting seeds in these boxes for probably close to a month, 3-4 weeks. Some of the seeds are just starting to germinate, break through the soil, and I'll show you that. But here is kind of the latest project. This literally just went in last Sunday. I built this little trellis here. This was a part of a piece of sheep and goat panel that we had back at the barn. So I just took that, attached it to some T-posts that we had in the back. See, that one wouldn't have been used because it's bent like crazy. Gotta straighten that one. But this has got cucamelons. And so that is another vining plant. We kind of isolated it from anything else, give it lots of sun, but that's what's going to be right here. Cucamelon is also known as the Mexican sour gherkin, so we will be growing those this year. That was another one that was recommended to us in one of the books that David the Good had written. And also I'd gotten some validation from one of the garden gurus up in North Carolina, Boone Child, who grew them last year, said they were slow to take off, but once they did, she wasn't disappointed. So here we are in the garden where we're at right now. I'll do the tour here. Last time I did this, I wasn't really sure what was in some of the boxes. I couldn't really remember, but here we've got just garden variety garlic that we have put in. This garlic basically was from garlic bulbs that I bought up at Walmart that had little green shoots coming out of them. So I broke the bulbs apart and then planted these, and it took about 7 days for them to sprout, but or break through the soil. But this is what we got. Here we are in the second bed, exterior bed, and these are this first section here. I'm trying to kind of a little experiment again with grocery store ginger. I just put that root down in the ground, see if I could get it to grow. Last time I checked it, there's no rooting or anything on it, so I don't know if that's going to be successful. But the rest of this bed is beets. The ones in the back a little bit slower to come up, but the ones in the front appear to be doing okay. The third exterior bed, this is all radishes. Got two varieties in here. I have a cherry bell, which is on this end, and they are doing really well. You'll see, look down in there, some of them are popping up through the soil. So in an effort to thin these radishes, I come out here and pull some up, and that's a good radish. I know some people are going to say, that's a great way to get worms. My mother used to say, don't eat raw potatoes because you're going to get worms. I don't think I ever got worms. Can't swear by that, but I don't think I did. These are icicle radishes on this end. Again, let's thin one of these radishes. See that one way down in there? Already popping out of the soil. So that is an icicle radish. A little dirt never hurt anybody. That's good. Kind of like the cherry bell. It's got a spicier flavor to it. Now we go to the other side for exterior bed number 4. And if you're wondering why I numbered all these, it's so I can keep track of what I put in each bed variety, where I got the seeds, how they're planted in the bed, and it just kind of gives me an idea of what performed best year to year, so that I don't plant things that haven't worked in the past, or I can try new varieties and have a record of how it performed here on our farm. So this is spinach in this bed. Some parts are already coming up. This is it right here. And here, that's all spinach. Something getting in here and chomping on it. So that's only been in a couple of weeks. And I come down here and I have a Burpee garden bean, and these are doing really well. So these have only been in, these and that spinach was planted the same day, so these are doing exceptionally well. And then last year, I don't think I ever really did a video of it, but we planted cucumbers, the Chicago pickling cucumber, and the production was out of this world. It was crazy how well they produced here. So I planted those again this year, and they are in this bed number 6. And again, these are Chicago pickling cucumbers. And we have in this bed number 7, on the left half of the bed is a green arrow pea, and on the right side of the bed are California black-eyed peas. Bed number 8, this is Chantenay carrots. So these have only been in a couple of weeks, probably not even 14 days. We get further down here, you'll see there's just not a whole lot happening because they haven't been in too long. So this is 2 different varieties of onions in this box. We have the Stuttgart Onion from Baker Creek on the left side of the box, and the yellow sweet Spanish onion on the right side of the box. Really no germination yet. And on here, this one is the last one. This has got pepper seeds in it. We've got a few that have sprouted up. See here, but there's 4 different varieties in here. Starting over here is a jalapeno. Somewhere right around here is a datil pepper. Further down here we've got a poblano pepper, and on the end over here are paprika peppers. So that's all 10 of the exterior boxes, and then I've also got 10 of these interior boxes, or the metal ones that Rick did the video on a couple of weeks ago. Somebody had posted a question on that video, and I'm just going to answer it here. How doesn't them being metal make them susceptible to rust? And that's a really great question. These have been treated as being rust resistant by the manufacturer. So their life expectancy on these metal boxes is about 20 years. So that's well in excess of what I'm probably going to get out of these wooden boxes. So that was a really great question on that video. I don't remember who asked that. I think it was flour, eggs, yeast, flour and eggs, flour, yeast, something like that. Can't remember the actual channel name exactly. Flour, eggs, and yeast, I think it was. But she asked that question. It's a really good question. So hope you watch this, and that's the answer. So this is metal box 1. So in here is a green calabash broccoli. This bed here, this is metal bed 2. This is golden acre cabbage, and again, these just went in last weekend, so it doesn't surprise me that we don't have a whole lot of germination. There's some happening. You see them little sprouts right there. And we move over here to metal box number 3, and this was one that Chelsea had requested. So this is summer squash, a yellow summer squash, and that is this entire bed. These have been in for about 2.5 weeks, so these have come up and appear to be doing well. Moving over here, this is metal bed 4. Here we've got zucchini, Ford hook zucchini. This was another one that Rick and Chelsea had requested that we put in the ground, and they look like they're beginning to perform pretty well. Again, this, like the summer squash, they're just going to sprawl out, so we should get pretty decent production off of those as well. And moving over to metal bed 5, in here we've got several different varieties of lettuce. Lettuce I have not had, other than basic leaf lettuce. Never had a whole lot of success with that in the past, because it gets so darn hot here in the summer. So we put it in really early this year. Hopefully we can get a few cuttings before we get into the heat of the summer with it. So we'll see. All right, then we come around from bed number 5 to bed number 6. And this one was just planted last week. Now there's a whole lot of weed seed in here. This is compost that we did over a period of 2 years. This is early white Vienna Kohlrabi. I have never grown Kohlrabi, and hopefully this is a success. Oh, it looks like right there we got some germination happening. I just saw that, so that might be the very first sprout. But Kohlrabi, I hear, is really good roasted. So that's something we can try putting out on our back porch grill, and grill that along with some steaks and see how that tastes. Maybe even pickle some of it. We'll see. I don't know. We've never grown kohlrabi. I've only had it a few times in my life, but I love trying new things. So then we come over here to bed number 7, and this is another one that Rick and Chelsea had requested that we grow, and this is all theirs because neither LaLa or I like, so drum roll please, kale. I'm not a huge fan of kale. I think it's maybe I've just had bad kale, I don't know, but you know, it seems like if the store that we don't have a whole lot of sprouting here yet, I think. Got some leaves here and some more here, some more here. This just went in last weekend. The kale that I've had has always been kind of bitter. I just don't care for it. Not a huge fan. So, but this is one that Chelsea and Rick wanted, so if we have success with this, they can have as much kale as they want. And then from bed number 8, 9, and 10, we don't have anything in here yet. Bed number 8, we just kind of got set up last weekend. Still haven't kind of spread that out, so I haven't planted in it. And then beds 9 and 10, those are going to be the compost for this year. We'll still kind of start it in a layering system, so we'll cut out the bottom of it. We will put in some cardboard, and then just throw kitchen scraps, paper, and any other compostable material that we acquire versus throwing it away. So those will go in these 2 beds, and then we still have all of the material. This wind, I hope this video turns out. That'll really stink if it don't, because this wind is nuts. We still have all the compostable material from all of the livestock pens, and from the pigs, the goats, from the chickens, that'll all go in. So what else we got in here? You'll see along the back here, these went in 2 weeks ago. We had 10 pounds of white Kennebec potatoes that we put into these 5 buckets. They were all chitted out, and you can see that each one of them have already broken through, some more than others. So this one's way up here. This one is just broke. This one's just broke through here. This one's a little shorter. So we'll give them probably another week to 2, and then we will come in here and fill this up again to cover these leaves once again, probably up to around here. And then we will so this is 10 pounds of seed potatoes. Hopefully we'll get 50 to 60 pounds out of this. Woo, there's a big one. Look at that wind blowing. That's how we know this cold front's coming in, because all them clouds are gone. So that pretty much concludes the garden tour. In-depth garden tour. Last time half of the beds on the exterior on the house side, I couldn't even remember what I put into them. The rest of this probably going to be just doing putting on the plastic. Rick went to get some more duct tape because I don't have enough of the pinch clamps to put plastic on all of these, so I will go as far as I can with the pinch clamps, and then after that it's going to be duct tape to the rescue.